Hi friends, Heather this side from Bitvero Digital Marketing Company, and today our topic is e-commerce. If you guys are planning to start e-commerce business, then and you are thinking that it is that simple, yes, I am also saying this is that simple. You just Google it and talk to any digital marketing company and start your e-commerce business, and you are happy now. Seems very simple, although it is not that simple, and you will get too many hiccups during the journey if once you will actually face the journey of starting an e-commerce business. Let's decide and discuss the journey. The breakers are at certain points, at certain levels. What are those breakers? So today in this video we'll be going to discuss those breakers. Now, to start with, how many if if you are planning to start your simple e-commerce business, first of all you need to know these statistics, that and it sounds, of course, sounds lucrative that you want to start your e-commerce business, because sounds happy for you, that interesting for you as well, that India's e-commerce will be going to increase by $120 billion by the end of 2025. And it would also be interesting to know that how much business Amazon did by the financial year ended March 2020, March 2021, and you will be surprised to know that Amazon did a business of 162 billion rupees. I'm not saying dollars, in rupees. And so it's a biggest share Amazon is holding on Indian e-commerce. 162 billion Indian rupees. And the total if the total US dollars, if we will convert it from $120 billion, is equivalent to 8.8 trillion Indian rupees. So it's quite much more. The second good competitor is Flipkart. Yes, you heard it right. Flipkart has got the 78 billion rupees of market share, Indian market share. That 78 billion is the second biggest stakeholder in Indian market, and that is Flipkart. Although major few other players are also there, and they are mid-level players. Just to update, Big Basket has got a revenue of 1400 million US dollars. Ajio is Reliance based, and Ajio has done the business of 1160 million US dollars. Again, Reliance Digital, $780 million. First Cry, $400 million. Nika, $350 million. Started a few years back. Farm Easy, the ads you are watching on the TV, $100 million. Apollo Pharmacy, the latest one, again on 50 million US dollars. And this business and turnover is financial year March 21. Now you can imagine, e-commerce is big. Of course it is big. If you are with a correct approach, then this will definitely be going to benefit you. For example, what is the correct approach? Let's try to understand this with a simple example. You want to start with a cake and pastry shop. You have a cake and pastry shop, and let's say you want to open an e-commerce store. If you think you can able to expand that cake and pastry shop by far and large, and you will be going to do much higher business in millions and billions, That would be too out of the blue. So coming back, the scope is limited. You can imagine, unless and until you are doing a chain of stores and cake and pastry shop. If you own just one shop, of course you can come up with an e-commerce store, but selling would be limited. Of course you can sell India wide, but then the breakers are, again, you will have to sort out the delivery first, then you will have to check the shelf life of your products. Second, then you will have to see the e-store maintenance, who will be going to maintain your store. Then you will have to check customer reviews. So you can grow your business, but with one store, one outlet, the scope is obviously limited. So, and still you can come up, that is fine, but you need to lay down strategies, you need to lay down foundation accordingly. And if you know these things, these breakers, these ups and downs, and these primary things from the start, you will be able to manage it in a much better way. Now let's see, if you have finally decided you want to come up with an e-commerce store, it's fine. So now what next? Next is, you have two different choices here. First choice is, you can do the DIY, do it yourself, and the second choice is to outsource. Let's analyze both. What are the repercussions in both the steps, in outsourcing or in DIY? What is better for you? Is outsourcing better for you, or is DIY better for you? Now let's decide how this goes. Now, if you want to keep yourself in the game, you need to check the important breakers, and these are the breakers which you really need to ponder over. If you want to be in the game of e-commerce, be it a small one, be it a large one, be it a startup, whatever, you must have to sort out these breakers. And they are, you need to check your business model first and foremost. What is your business model? What is it that you are trying to do? Let's say, like we discussed just now, some time back, upon a cake and pastry shop, if you want to build a very huge business of cake and pastry, you need to check what is your current presence, what is your current existence over there. So you cannot scale that much. So you really need to check what is your business model out there. Of course, if you are running a chain of stores of your cake and pastry, then you can plan to scale. Scale it, but lay down your business model, check your strategies accordingly. Do not overdo it, neither do not underdo it, just be at par. Second important thing is, check your immediate competition. What is your competition? Have you pondered over that? If someone else is also doing the same business, the same cookies, the same dry things they are sending, and again next door, you need to check what exactly they are doing, due to rate parity, due to quality, because this really matters. If you will not ponder over the rates, then definitely nobody will be going to buy from you. If you will not check the quality what they are shipping, definitely your customers may not able to appreciate you. If you will not check the variety they are doing it, what will happen at the end of the day? The customer will go to that shop and purchase. Simple. Third important thing is finance and funding. This is most important. You need to check who will be going to finance, either you or your parent company or your sister concern, or you will be going to borrow it from the banks or any other financial institution, or what? Who will be going to fund your business, your e-commerce business? Of course, if you are planning to scale it, you need to check out funding in that case. And if it is a simple normal e-commerce store, that you can arrange the funds on your own, or your or from your sister company or your existing institution or whatever it is. But if your business model is different, if you are planning something big, if you are planning a full blown product, then you need to check. Then funding is checking the funding, and finance and resources is quite very important. You need to see who will be going to fund it, because at the end of the day you need the funds, and at the same time you cannot risk your existing business, so you need extra funds for that. So you need to understand from where you will be going to have those extra funds. Fourth important thing is, will you be going to start it as MVP or a full blown product? Look, MVP is minimum viable product. Whatever idea you have in your mind, you need to test that idea, and MVP is the best tool to test that particular idea. This way you need to know the customer satisfaction, this way you need to know the customer taste, this way you need to understand what customer likes, this way you need to understand pricing and strategies, this way you need to understand ethics of that market, this way you need to understand how you will be going to grow your MVP further in minimum risk, because funds you are putting in MVP is much lower as compared to a full blown product. Sixth and last is, you must have to done the 360 research of whatever you are trying to come up with, be it prices, be it competition, be it strategies, be it market, be it sustainability, be it expandability, whatever it is. You need to do the 360-degree research at each step, at each point, if you want to succeed in your e-commerce. Without this step, it is less likely that you will be going to have to be successful. There will be a high amount of risk involved at each step, every step. Now, as discussed some time back, that you only have two choices: either you can outsource or you can do the DIY. Let's first discuss what are the pros and cons in outsourcing. At all, if you want to outsource your whole project of e-commerce, what are the repercussions, what are the pros and cons over there? At your end, you might be thinking that it is very simple to outsource. Just Google it, find a good digital marketing company and outsource your e-commerce. It is that simple. Yes, of course, my dear, it is that simple. But finding the right digital marketing company or your outsourcing partner is a bit challenging and typical, because you really don't know who is out there who will be going to charge you, who is out there who will be going to tell you technicalities, who will be out there who will be going to support you, who will be out there who will be going to maintain your digital asset. And top of all, you really don't know their reputation. So it is a bit challenging to find that right partner. But thankfully, by maintaining few things, you can actually find your right partner if you can give good knowledge to yourself. Thus, friends, what are the breakers in finding the right channel partner for your e-commerce? I will tell you, there are different breakers. The first breaker is cost of design and development. How you will be going to determine the cost of design? So you really need to research on it a little bit, so that you should be aware about what exactly how to evaluate the cost, because there are different factors while evaluating the cost, like the CMS which you will be going to use, which is not paid, and the support and maintenance criteria, the domain and hosting criteria, the content criteria, and CO criteria. There are many different factors which determines the cost, and if you know about these factors, what what are the what things derive these factors, so you will be better able to negotiate with the person in front. Second important factor is CMS. They will be going to use, you can use multiple CMS, like CMS is first of all content management system. You can use Shopify, you can use BigCommerce, you can use Magento, you can use WooCommerce. There are many different type of e-commerce cart options, cart systems available, which you can use and your digital partner can use. Obviously, if you will be going to ask that, please tell me what are the options for CMS and what is the best CMS as per my product and service. So second thing, you have to discuss with them the CMS, content management system. Third thing is who will be going to support, whether you will be going to see the support aspect on your own if you are technical. If not, then you will have to outsource the support criteria, because it is not like done and dusted in one go. There are many different issues that are coming up. For example, the page have been deleted subsequently, the functionality is not working, the payment is not settled, the e-commerce, you need to change something over there, this and that hiccups are there. So you need support and maintenance contract as well. So you need to check and decide who will be going to support. If you are technical, you can do it yourself. If you are not, then you will have to obviously outsource this criteria. So you need to discuss with them the support and maintenance aspect as well. Again, the fifth and most important thing is any recurring cost involved while e-commerce. The first recurring cost is domain cost, the second recurring cost is hosting cost, and the third recurring cost is support and maintenance cost. These are the three recurring costs which you'll have to discuss with your e-commerce provider, digital marketing expert. Lastly, you need to check with them what is the development time which you'll be going to take. How much time you need to check that time with your deadline. If it suits you, it's fine, else you need to negotiate with them your time, your deadlines, if you have already planned your full journey. If depending upon the e-commerce platform, if you are planning something huge, obviously that's been developed in staging. Staging means phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and so on. Now again, if you want to outsource, there is one more option in outsourcing. You can outsource to a freelancer as well, and you can outsource to a digital marketing company as well. This is what you can do. Now friends, when it comes to outsourcing, you have two different choices. You can outsource your e-commerce store to a freelancer, you can outsource your e-commerce store to a digital marketing agency. Both have their own repercussions out there. If you want to outsource your e-commerce store development to a freelancer and digital marketing company, the freelancer, you will obviously, the freelancer will charge you much lesser, but then the professional journey may not be that professional what the experience you will be going to have with the digital marketing company, because they are professional, they are a team of experts. They will be going to provide you professional advice on content, professional advice on SEO, professional advice on domain, professional advice on hosting, professional advice on support and maintenance, professional advice on your e-commerce and CMS, etc. Whereas this person, a freelancer who is a one-man band, may able to provide you professional advice on coding, designing, development, all that. Whereas only few handful of them may able to provide you support on SEO, but they may not able to provide you support on content. They may not able to provide for you the content. So that is the reason that journey which you will be going to outsource to a freelancer may not be as smooth as you are expecting as compared to any digital marketing agency. Second thing is the customer experience. Obviously, a digital marketing agency will be going to provide you a very good customer experience, or a better customer experience, if not the best. But as far as freelancer is concerned, you know it, he's a one-man band, so he may not able to support you. For example, you are calling him and he's not picking the phone. Simple criteria. You are mailing him and he is busy in his coding and designing. He is not replying to you. So as far as a freelancer is concerned, the communication, the support, the customer experience is not will not be going to be great. So you need to consider this if you are at all willing to outsource your product to a freelancer. Third is you are getting everything under one roof if you are connected with any good digital marketing agency as compared to a freelancer, because again, freelancer is a one man band. He don't know what is content. He don't Sometimes he may not able to provide you support and maintenance. Sometimes he may not able to provide you consultancy on domains, this and that, and these are all the important factors. So if you are willing to have a good experience of this thing, if you want everything under one roof, you should contact a digital marketing agency, and you should prefer the digital marketing agency in as against the freelancer. Finally, if you want a tax invoice, obviously a freelancer may not be able to provide you that, whereas a digital marketing company or an agency can freely provide you that, and you can ask. Next is DIY. Friends, this is drag and drop. Friends, next is DIY. Do it yourself. This means simply there are many companies out there who are providing you drag and drop services. You can go to those companies, you can drag and do the drag and drop methods and can build up your own stores. You need to be a bit of technicality. You need to spare time. You need to spare time in learning. You need to spare time while understanding things. You need to understand their platforms. You need to understand their concepts. You need to understand the domain and hosting criteria as well, if at all you want to go for the DIY, but then you are saving cost on that. So if you think the cost doesn't matter, then it is preferable to outsource. And if you think cost matters, then DIY. Cost matters for you a lot, obviously, then DIY is again a viable option, but with few breakers, which if you will understand will be going to help you during this journey of DIY, so that you can take your informed decisions instead of ignored ones. What are the pros and cons? Simply, DIY will save you cost. That's first thing. DIY provides you, the design will be simplistic. That's the second thing. Rapid development, you can do that within a week's time or less, even lesser than that. You can be able to come up with your own store in your own way, spending your own time, saving your own cost. As far as the con side is concerned, listen to these very carefully as they are important. Nobody else will be going to tell you unless you will do a good level of research in Google. The first thing is, they doesn't perform in Google. The DIY, drag and drop, the two major companies are Weebly and Wix. They both provide drag and drop DIY stores, and that includes e-commerce stores as well. But the problem is DIY sites doesn't perform well in Google. Google knows that someone else is hosting these sites. Google knows that this is DIY. If you are going to underestimate Google at this point, then please do not. This might be your biggest mistake. Please do not underestimate Google here in this point, in this context. That is the reason even these companies, these DIY companies, have provided Weebly and Wix.com. They have incorporated good amount of SEO. Even they are unable to hide. Google knows very well that this site they are developing is DIY tool, and most of these sites you will find on the shared servers. With you can have your independent domains. Second thing is no Java and PHP support. If you are planning to use JavaScripts, if you are planning to use PHPs, in which most of the websites use PHPs and Javas and technical codings, These platforms do not provide support for PHP and Java. You can imagine how you will be going to work in this scenario. Then site migration tomorrow, for example, if you want to go away from these platforms provide minimal support or negligible support, next to nil, because they don't want you to move away from their platform. That is the reason they depreciate this criteria, and migration will be next to impossible from these sites. So means either you'll have to stop it, and once you are stopping it, you are wasting all your times and efforts with Wix and all these. Whereas this criteria is not with any regular hosting company. They can provide you the backup of your full site, which you can host anywhere, anytime, in any region, in any location, in any server. Last is, they will be going to host your website in US region. No matter, you will be going to have your website in India, your audience is in India, or your audience is in Australia, they will be going to host your website in the US region. Why? And that's something which is completely not acceptable, because there will be too many hops, and which will degrade the customer experience, which will increase the speed and download time of your website, which will obviously increase the TTL, time to live, and your customer will go away. You will lose the customer. If you are planning to do the business in India, your audience is in India, then it is always recommended to choose server location in India and not anywhere else. Thus, speed matters. Now you can imagine, with these informed decisions, you can now check, and you can now see that you can take informed decisions with all these pros and cons. Last thing, friends, is the cost. You guys might be thinking, what is the cost of e-commerce development in India? Please do not ask me what is the cost of e-commerce development in US, because that starts from $5,000 to $50,000, the basic things, and as far as advanced things are concerned, goes much higher. India is concerned, friends, domain cost you need to bear it, second hosting cost you need to bear it, third development cost you need to bear it, fourth maintenance cost you need to bear it. So these are the four major costs you need to bear at your end. Domain cost is generally 1,000. Depends upon the cost of domain if you are not buying any primary domain. Hosting cost lies anywhere between 10 to 12,000 or 15,000 per year. I'm talking about the managed hosting cost, friends. There is much difference in managed hosting and shared hosting. Shared hosting is very simple. Just Google it and you will find shared hosting is starting from 100 rupees per MB or per GB, whatever. But there are certain repercussions, and you can check my other video in resources, in which I had provided a good detail of difference between shared hosting and managed hosting. Managed hosting is something in which you don't have to do anything, referring the servers, referring the support, referring the site uptime, referring any maintenance, referring any patches, referring any updates, referring any CMS updates, whatever, referring any health check, virus checks. So it is always recommended to take a managed support criteria, managed server, so that your server is, you can ensure that your site remains fully healthy each time, every time, all the time, because there is someone out there to check your web server, who is looking after your web server, and which will not go vulnerable, and your site will not go vulnerable in any circumstance. Third thing is CMS, and that is Shopify, that is Magento, that is BigCommerce, WooCommerce. They are all free. So make sure that your hosting provider, that your e-commerce provider will not ask you to pay for the CMS cost. Of course, they can ask you to pay for support. They can ask you to pay for the design and development and tailoring. Design and development may cost anywhere between 50,000 to 150,000 rupees, depending upon the company portfolio, depending upon how company is working, depending upon whatever, depending upon company's reputation, depending upon the processes of the company. Last thing is support and maintenance, which is anywhere between 5 to 10,000 rupees. per month. Yes, because in support the most important criteria is they will give you hourly hour they will give you man hours. They will give you a project manager who, for changes, for textual changes, for graphical changes, for backend updates. So for this reason you need support and maintenance time to time. So it is always advisable to have support on a recurring basis. Although if you can able to support it on your own, then do not take it. That money you can save at your end. However, digital marketing company Bitvero, as you all guys know, providing a calculator in which surprisingly you can start your e-commerce store from as low as rupees 30,000. Yes, you heard it right, 30,000. There is a calculator over there. You can open the site bitvero.in, directly go to the e-commerce solutions page, and there you will find the calculator. Select your number of pages, select the domain, select the hosting, select the content, select the SEO, select the e-commerce thing, and then the prices will be right there in front of you. Order it, and they'll be going to deploy for you a dedicated manager, and the process will go on like that. You can discuss with them. Thank you very much for today's session. This is all about. If you like this session, give me a please give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time with more details, with more such healthy discussions. Thank you very much for watching. See you.